You know, our solar system, it just keeps revealing these incredible secrets. There's a new world just confirmed hiding out there in the darkness. But what if I told you that this tiny frozen speck could be the absolute key to humanity's future among the stars? Let's get into it.
Okay, so whenever we hear about some new discovery in the far reaches of the solar system, it's so easy to just think, oh, great, another boring ice ball, right? Just some distant, lonely rock that a few scientists might find interesting, but for the rest of us, totally irrelevant. But what if that whole idea is just completely wrong?
So first things first, let's get acquainted with our subject. Because way out there in the cold and the dark, there is a newly confirmed world.
Everybody, meet 2017 OF21. It's what we call a probable dwarf planet, and it's about 700 kilometers wide. To give you a sense of scale, that's roughly the size of Germany. Now, what makes this thing truly wild is its location. It's on this incredibly long, looping orbit that starts way out in the Kuiper Belt, that ring of icy bodies beyond Neptune, and it swings out more than 1,600 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun. A single trip around the Sun for this world? 25,000 years. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That is longer than all of recorded human history. From the very first cave paintings all the way to today, it is profoundly, mind-bogglingly far away.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Dwarf planet. Doesn't that mean it's not a real planet? Kind of like when Pluto got demoted? Well, the story's actually a bit more complicated. And honestly, way more interesting than that.
See, our whole definition of planet has always been a work in progress. If you look back to the 1800s, Ceres was considered a planet. But once we found the whole asteroid belt, we had to recategorize it. Same exact thing happened in 2006 with Pluto. As we discovered more and more worlds like it, we just needed a new classification. But the crucial point is this. The term itself tells you the story. A dwarf planet is still a kind of planet. Just like we say Jupiter is a gas giant planet, Pluto is a dwarf planet. The label isn't a demotion, it's just a description. And as we're about to see, these worlds are anything but insignificant.
So if it's not insignificant, what is it? Well, we need to stop thinking about 2017 OF21 as a place to visit and start seeing it as a resource to build with. And this is where that whole boring ice ball idea gets completely shattered. The key here isn't its physical size, it's all about its mass. It's about the sheer amount of raw material, all the water ice, rock, metals, and different compounds that this world represents. And that mass, my friends, is a treasure chest just waiting to be opened. Let's try to put a number on it. The estimated mass is around 3 × 10 to the 21st kilograms. I know, it's a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. So let's just call it what it is. 3 times billion megatons of raw material. Okay, so what can you actually do with all of that? Well, what if you took all that mass and used it to build O'Neill cylinders? These are massive, rotating space habitats that create their own artificial gravity. You could construct about 30 million of them, not thousands, 30 million brand new homes in space. And now, for the final, absolutely mind-blowing number. The combined living area of all those habitats would be equivalent to 47 Earths. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. A single, supposedly insignificant dwarf planet holds the raw material for 47 new worlds worth of living space. So you see the shift? Our perception of a frozen wasteland, an insignificant little speck, is totally transformed. Its real potential is as a home for trillions of people, a foundation for a vast new branch of human civilization. But the potential doesn't even stop there. At just building homes, that unique orbit it has makes it strategically priceless. This thing isn't just a destination, it's a doorway. A world like this becomes a natural cosmic way station. You can think of it like a remote harbor town right on the edge of a vast, unexplored ocean. It becomes this critical piece of infrastructure for any civilization that's seriously looking to travel between the stars.
So how does that work in practice? Well, you can think of it as a 4-step process. First, outbound ships could stop there to refuel and repair, using local materials. Second, we could anchor communication relays there to link deep space with home. Third, we could build massive lasers on it to accelerate ships, and just as importantly, to slow them down when they arrive. And finally, the most audacious idea of all, A gentle push could launch the entire world, now converted into a giant arc, on a slow journey to another star.
Remember that highly eccentric, crazy long orbit we talked about? Turns out that's a feature, not a bug. When it's at its absolute farthest point from the sun's gravity is incredibly weak. A relatively small, sustained push could be enough to nudge it out of the solar system entirely, turning the whole dwarf planet into a generation ship. And if we zoom out, the discovery of 2017 OF21 isn't really just about one object. It's a clue that maybe we've been looking at the outer solar system all wrong.
It's part of a growing family of truly fascinating worlds. You've got Pluto with its 5 moons and a giant nitrogen glacier. You've got its near twin Eris, the bizarre football-shaped Haumea that spins so fast it's incredible. And then there's Sedna, which takes a 12,000-year trip into the inner Oort cloud, the vast shell of icy objects surrounding our entire solar system. These are not boring rocks. This is a hidden archipelago of resources and mysteries.
And this reveals the really cool part. Their supposed weaknesses are actually their greatest strengths. Weak gravity? That means launching things into space takes almost no energy. Resources locked in ice? That's a nearly unlimited supply of water and rocket fuel. And that faint sunlight and immense distance? That makes them perfect for hidden outposts or archives, safe from any catastrophe that could happen back home.
So the big takeaway here is this. We have to stop thinking of these worlds as leftovers. They are not cosmic crumbs. They are the future. They are the stepping stones that could allow a civilization like ours to crawl, then walk, and then run out into the rest of the galaxy. So the next time you hear about a new dwarf planet, don't just picture a distant frozen rock. Picture a seed for new worlds, a harbor light in the deep darkness guiding us outward. Because the ultimate lesson from 2017 OF21 is that in space, even the smallest things are absolutely vast.